the seeds of kindness you sow today will bloom in the hearts of those you touch forever. A wonderful quote. Greetings in the precious name of our Lord Jesus. Welcome to Choices. Choices is so designed not only to help Guyanese, but this entire world. In doing this, we're fulfilling the mandate of our Lord Jesus Christ, who said in the book of Mark, chapter 16, verse 15 and 16, "Go ye therefore and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned." To all our wonderful viewers, we want you to know you're precious, priceless, and valuable. God loves you. We love you. Stay tuned.
Guyana is a beautiful country, and if we are going to maintain that beauty, if we are going to see our country as one that is respected, one that people would want to come to, it is important that as a people we conduct ourselves in a certain fashion. And of more recent, we've observed that there seems to be a level of disrespect. There seems to be a level of disrespect with regard to human life, with regards to human behavior, how people operate, how people conduct themselves, what is said, what they do, and more and more this I would want to call it a scourge is beginning to affect our society. When someone could just say, "Look, I'm going to take the lives of someone, or take the lives of persons and then take my own," it speaks to something that is rooted in our value system that needs to be addressed. And so we want to discuss some of the ways that we could deal with this matter, because we have also seen that in the family there seem to be a serious shortcoming with respect to teaching, with respect to monitoring, with respect to supervision. And so these are key things that parents should be concerned about, even as we attempt to raise our children, monitoring and supervision of our children. I don't know, do we ask ourselves, what is it that our children listen to with respect to music? What it is that they watch? Who are the friends that they keep? What kinds of conversations they are involved in? And so these are critical issues that we must address if we're going to continue to build a beautiful Guyana. So we want to discuss this evening how we could go forward in building a beautiful Guyana. Gentlemen.
Paul, are we examining, or are we eyewitnesses to the devaluation of human life in our country? Not just devaluation, but the disrespect for life and all that it entails, and ultimately the destruction of human life. Do you believe that in the 21st century, as we are sitting now, we are actually witnessing the rolling out of this terrible thing upon our land?
Indeed, it's a harsh reality that we are faced with every single day. And like Reverend Hudson stated, our value system has been compromised greatly. And to the point, I believe that our children, they no longer value themselves. There's a low self-esteem. And we need to, from the very beginning, to really encourage our children in the homes to really allow themselves and really encourage them to do well and to value themselves. Because when you go out there in society, the pressure that you face, you will be able to stand up. Something inside of you will click and will allow you not to go in a certain direction.
When I was a little boy, and that was a long time ago, we as children used to speak something called gibberish, something like that. Yeah. We did that. We developed this language. So we thought in our heads that we could outwit our parents if we say this, speak in this way. But we didn't have the knowledge that our parents were much wiser. And so they were able very many times to quietly listen, and they were able to intercept our plans. They never really said to us, we, at the end when they intercepted, we really thought that our mothers were brilliant. How they knew, they had tremendous sense of discernment. Something is happening in our world. I believe there's a driver to this devaluation, destruction, devaluation, disrespect, and destruction of human life. And I would want to posit that one of the drivers, perhaps the most dominant one, is music. The kinds of music that our young people especially are listening to. And adults, for example, don't let me talk in a general sense. For me, I find it difficult. I have to spend a very long time listening to the music, the current music, before I understand the message. When you listen to Sam Cooke, you understood his message right away. And you listen to the Drifters, you understood the message right away. You listen to the Temptations, you understood the message. And if we come a little bit more contemporary, when you listen to Whitney Houston and the others, you heard their message. But we now have some messengers. When they communicate, they are communicating below the radar. And the frequency, our ears, parents, I'm talking to you. If some of you were like me, perhaps most of you were like me, where you don't understand, therefore you dismiss. That's a dangerous thing we're doing. Because if you listen to some of the lyrics, then you'll be able to understand why people devalue life the way they devalue life. If you only listen. Some of the lyrics that we downloaded and we had a look at, we censored ourselves. We made the decision that we really can't repeat the lyrics on this program. We want you, however, to examine, use the social media and examine how toxic the lyrics are. And then you'll be able to understand the violence, Winston. Then you'll be able to understand the violence and the way how this thing is driven.
As you talk, Bishop, I remember, I think I brought to your attention, I was doing some research in the same issue, and then discovered that there's a philosophy in the music industry, especially in the rap industry, and among the rap and gang rap, where energy means violence. So when you talk that I must be a man of energy, you're actually saying, there's a philosophy you're teaching, that I must be violent. I can't be soft. And for me not to be soft, I must be violent. And that is the kind of thinking that is influencing the minds of our young people. And that is what is causing them to even get involved in gangs, to make sure they own guns and to make sure that they can prove they can kill somebody. And if you don't prove you can kill somebody, then you're not a legitimate member of certain gangs. You have to prove yourself. And that is the environment that sometimes we are lost. We don't even know that it exists. We don't even know that our young people are part of it.
I listened to a song quite the other day because I wanted to find out whether the message that we probably communicate is being received by those that we are seeking to impress, those we're seeking to impress, those we're seeking to influence. So I stopped one of the carts, and as a messenger, I have to examine the other messengers in the marketplace.
Yes.
And so I have to understand those who are competing with me. What is their message? So I told the guy what I wanted, and the guy looked at me. He probably recognized me, and I told him I wanted a set of, almost said the word genre of music, but the guy pushing the cart, he ain't interested in that. So I said, man, I want to hear the kind of music, and he gave me 2 CDs. Well, I paid for it. I got home, put on the earphone, because I don't have to deal in a controlled environment with my family, who might be watching at me and wondering what foolishness they're getting involved in. And I listened, and there was one, it took me about 20 minutes to figure out what this guy was saying. He was saying he's a mechanic, but the way how he was pronouncing the word mechanic, it took me 20 minutes. I'm not daft, but the way how they encode their message is very powerful. I must say that I appreciate it. It's difficult for me, for adults, for those young people. You watching, you smiling because you know what I'm talking about. You understand it immediately. And he says when this particular bodily or organ breaks, he fixes it. So I understood promiscuity immediately. Why they run around? Because this guy sees himself as a mechanic. What a mechanic does. If something goes wrong with your car, he comes, he runs a diagnostic test. A good one would do that. Hook up and so on. And they have some of these young men and women going to bars, going to churches, they're running a diagnostic test on the system. And when they finish, they make a prescription. Well, this is what we have to do in order to fix your condition. So this guy, and I'm sparing us, this fellow didn't speak in such language. His language is more based and more powerful and communicate very, very, very sharp.
Pastor, like you, I struggle to also understand some of the lyrics. But one thing I found, sometimes listening to these songs, there's a certain level of anger sometimes that comes across. While I am not sure what they're saying exactly, I can feel the hurt, the pain, and as a result, the anger and the hatred that singer is trying to communicate. And for me personally, after listening for perhaps a minute or so, I start to feel anger myself. And I don't know why I'm feeling this anger. And that for me is one of the subtleties of music. Music gets right past your intellect and goes right down into the soul.
Well, why are the younger folks really listening or gravitating to this type of music? And the music of yesteryear, as we want to call it, they seem to want to abandon and move away from. Is it the age that we're living in that people prefer to inculcate anger, violence, as opposed to the past era where people prefer to build within themselves strong resilience to oppose such violence in community that's happening around them? Are we seeing rather a preference of violence in terms of dealing with situations and things that confront us, rather than seeking peace, seeking probably negotiation and how to deal with things?
Here, another messenger. And his lyrics are there for us to absorb. Psalms 139. And he was a musician himself. And his lyric says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Now, he has brought recognition to himself and to those who read his lyrics and listen to it. Admitting that there is a Creator Supreme and that we are not just on our own, just acting by ourselves. We were fearfully. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. This is what this messenger said. We're living in a different, you asked the question, we're living in a different time where they have thrown the baby out with the bathwater. They don't want to submit to a Lord that is transcendent, that is above. They are now submitting to self and to whatever pleases me I will do. And you have this colossal clash. And I think what is brilliant about what's happening here is that lots of parents haven't a clue to what's happening. But we see our children fighting. You spoke brilliantly about the hate. You could imagine popular music is a medium for communicating hate. I remember listening to the lyrics of some song. I don't know how old it is, but I was shocked by it. It said, kill the police, kill the police. Now, how could such, let's say somebody made that, how that thing could hit the airwaves, then hit social media, and people buying and selling? What is that doing to the psyche of young men and women?
Bishop, I heard the problems, I heard the scenarios presented, and I believe while the music is set to target a certain group, the propensity to influence is great. As a young man, I listened to some of the music that Pastor Lee made reference to, and how what it did, the kind of the love, you know. So as a young man, I believe I had to be a darling. You know, and so you set out on a course. Your parents are trying their level best to bring you up, but thank God, you know, they was also outside of the home. There were the safety nets that were available. Mommy and sure you went to every Sunday school that was available. They had the scouts. You had the social groups, the little groups in the community. So even though you went astray, there were other groups to bring you back on stream. And what is so good is that, like you pointed to Psalms 139, the word of God is there to help to counter the attacks of the enemy which come through these different mediums, right? So even though I went off course, outside of the home there were the safety nets, and then there was the word of God that helped to bring me back on course,
Brethren,
to be able to live a productive life.
I believe that one of the items discussed recently on the agenda paper of the CARICOM heads of government is cricket. But I believe we have another problem, a severe problem, and that is music, Caribbean music. I say Caribbean music because it originates from us. But there's one particular CARICOM state that is responsible for this deluge of smut and unkind music that is abrasive even to the ear, and it's destroying society. It's not only destroying society, I believe it's responsible for the destruction of a thriving recording industry that we had in Guyana. Unfortunately, we never had the copyrights. But in the 60s and the 70s, even the 80s, we have been producing artists after artists, making international music. And what do we have now? All the young people trying to sing smut and lyrics that is damaging to themselves and the society. We have to come to grips with this and put an end. And I believe the good place to start is in the home. I like how Bishop described his home as a controlled environment. I'm calling on parents. Control your environment. Parents must be in charge of the household.
I remember Sammy Bash. You remember that? To be lonely is a crime. No, that sounds innocent, right? I mean, but it is not injurious to the human but we don't celebrate that kind of music. I'm trying to remember some others. I remember Marvin Gaye. I mean, after a bout with the different things that he went to, he came back with a hit, you know? He came back with a hit that says, "Let's make love tonight." No, that song of itself created madness in the world because of the influence of the music, the lyrics.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
You know, you could think, you remember Eddie Grant? Give me hope, Joanna. You know, and singing about the oppression in South Africa. And that song gave hope to a generation. Now we're thinking about mechanic and when it broke, who will fix it? And I am just dealing with one. I really was trying to get one. I looked at two before we recorded the program. I looked at the lyrics of two songs. It is so graphic. Like we said earlier, we decided that we were going to do some we will do some self-censorship and not allow it. But I wish we could do that kind of censorship in our home. Now, here, what I say this respectfully, forget government. This thing got to happen in your house. We have to begin there. You know, it is, some people, their whole life, they're depending on government for everything. There's an old song that said, my hope is built on nothing less but Jesus' blood and righteousness. That's a decision you and I have to make. We have to build our family on Christ, the solid rock I stand. This is critical for us to re-examine those foundational principles, or else what we see, where people become confused about their life. What could enter into the mind of a man or a woman to plan the destruction of others? Music. If you listen to some of the lyrics, and we really are inviting you to listen to some of the lyrics of these toxic songs that our children are listening to. That's why it's easy for them to get undressed in front of a camera in their uniform and do what they have to do. If you, the authorities, sit down and look at some of the music, this one here speaks about death to microwave. A mother hold her breast and go down on her knees. Bow to the sky, say, Lord, take him please. Find microwave dead in a cane piece. This the wrong man, you hear that? We heard that in this country the other day. This is the wrong man. This guy made a song out of this. This the wrong man. And pick up couple grain piece. Now I can't repeat the other verses of this song, Death to Microwave. You know, kill every blank opposition. Glock 34, 50 round ammunition. David Russell sang one. Shaka dead the other day. You know, he takes so many bullets in the tenement yard. We need to understand what's happening in our midst. And I would encourage the authorities, whoever they are, to examine the lyrics of our music. We all alarmed and saying the children should not be doing what they're doing in school. You know what they're listening to? And we the ones who allow it to come in. We know what and parents, you're saying your sons and your daughters should be listening to what they're listening to. Rather, shouldn't be doing what they're doing. You know what they're listening to. Some of you should go into the buses. I've tried going into buses. And the drivers recognize me, they change the music immediately. You know, I have done that several times in this country because I want to make the point that we are every day the children leave our homes. We are putting them into a trap. And somebody's got to do something about that. Stop complaining about the murders and the killings. That is at the top end. Let us go to the bottom end. And let's look at the input. And I'm saying that this toxic music is critical. There's a direct correlation between that and what irks us at the end.
I like what you're saying, Ralph, because we really need to pay close attention to the messengers and the message. because those are the ones that are creating mayhem in the minds of people. The words spoken will never be forgotten because of the recording device called the brain. And as long as it's registered on the brain, the opportunity will come for you have to play back. And when that playback comes, everybody is taken by surprise as to how this happened. You weren't there at the recording. You need to be there at the recording to make sure that the lyrics released are not toxic.
Better instruction, which requires better monitoring. And that must be supported by it must be built in a home and supported by the social structures around. If not, we're going to lose our young people, therefore lose our development.
Minister Wesley spoke about the whole aspect of the safety net. And I believe that a family problem becomes a community problem. A community problem becomes a national problem. And therefore, it is incumbent upon all the stakeholders to pull together if we're going to change what is happening. And clearly, even as I look at this thing carefully, no one man has the solution to what we see happening here, because at the end of the day, a parent, for example, can't watch a child 24 hours, and the same thing happens in the school system. So it is important that every stakeholder, from the different aspects, the different angles, say the same thing, speak with one voice if we're going to build this beautiful reality.
Well, we're into the season of TikTok. And somebody said to me, there are some things that you do as humans. You do it and then you think afterwards. We are trying to understand the dynamics involved in what irks all of us as humans. The devaluation of life, the disrespect for human life, and the destruction of human life. If you are at a bar, or wherever you view this program, in your home, in a club, wherever you view this program, spend the next 10, 20 minutes discussing us. You have a right to get upset with us. I have no trouble, but discuss the issue. We'll see you next week. God bless you.
We thank you for joining us on Choices today. Remember, you can join us at First Assembly, LNP Durban Street, Workmanville, Georgetown, Guyana, for any of our special services. I'm Celicia on behalf of the set, reminding you that your whole life is the sum of your choices. God bless you.